Hello, everyone. Welcome back once again to our new podcast where we have two experts among us जो एक सवाल करेंगे और एक हमें जवाब देंगे. And we are going to learn from them like always. So, before we begin, myself Suman Khanda, founder of Lakshya Sati, I welcome you all. So, we are living in a world where our phones are full of contacts, but our hearts feel low on actual connections. Endless apps, constant notification, yet real friendships are quietly slipping away. If you lost your phone right now, how many people would you genuinely reach out to later? That's the reality behind what experts are calling the friendship recession. And today, we are unpacking why deep, meaningful friendships are getting harder to build and what we can do to change that. So, before we begin, let's meet our experts. Our first expert, Miss Anupama Singh. Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Welcome to our podcast.
Yes, thank you for inviting me, Suman, and a very good evening to all of you and Rudransh. Actually, I am a hypnotherapist. I am also a psychologist and NLP master practitioner, and I am also practicing as a parenting coach presently. So the questions that are going to come to me, it is going to be obviously related to a Gen Z because Rudransh is also a Gen Z. So I'm open to all the questions.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Welcome once again. Hope not only Gen Zs, rather millennials and other generations learn a lot from your answers too. Moving on to our second expert, who is a Gen Z student, and he's going to ask questions on behalf of all his friends. So, hi, Rudransh. Welcome to the platform.
Yes, thank you. Myself is Ramsey and third year BTech student, currently studying in Manipal University, Jaipur. I am pursuing a computer science course and I have a lot of questions about friendship recession.
Great. I'm
Yes.
sure कुछ questions आपके साथ साथ आपके friends से भी link करते रहेंगे. So before we start this question answer round, I have an important question to ask both of you. So my first question to Anupama ji is, ma'am, what brings you to this platform?
Well, I have been associated and I have been connected with Lakshya Sarthi for quite some time now, and they are doing a very noble job. That is one reason why I'm still connected with them. Second reason is that since I am a counseling psychologist also, I would love to create awareness about relationships, about the way the things are going in this fast-paced world. That is one of the reason that brings me, and because this topic is so deep and intense, and everybody wants to know why all these things are happening. And even I'm in the learning space, so I'm also going to learn a lot of things from Rudransh. So it is not only going to be me, I'm also going to have a lot of learning from Rudransh. So that is why this gets me to this platform.
Thank you, ma'am. This was really wonderful. So, Rudransh, my question to you, what brings you to this platform?
Basically, this platform provides specialists to me, to all of the people I'm representing, the Gen Z, and I have a lot of questions that may be answered, and I might get a new thought process while doing this podcast.
That's great. Thank you so much. Welcome once again. So, let's start.
Thank you very much.
Rudransh, the platform is all yours. You can start asking questions to ma'am.
So, my first question being, when did friendship start feeling like a personal branding? Like you're building a portfolio of people who can add value. Basically, like everybody is competitive these days. So, what should we do?
Okay, so basically, your question is very interesting, and I think it relates to all of us. So basically, friendship has started appearing like personal branding because of the rise of social media. And ever since then, people have started using that for public image and for their personal gain. And this is one of the reason why it has become like a personal branding. And now the friendships are more so like contacts and portfolios of people rather than having an emotional connect with them. So it is more of the quantity rather than the quality of the people. The more you have visibility on the social media, it creates an illusion in your mind that you have a lot of connection and lot of connectivity. So basically, it is a personal branding, and the branding is that you need to align yourself with someone from whom you can gain something or the other, or a personal growth, some kind of a, whether it is an influencer or whether it's somebody in your own community with whom you're connected. How you are going to get that personal growth from that person, that is what matters to you. And that is why this is becoming a very powerful tool, especially in the young adults. They are using this as a platform to kind of project themselves differently. And this is how the friendship is getting compromised.
So,
Right.
if ambition makes our relationships feel conditional, it also seems to create a paradox. Like if it fuels us, but it often starves us of real intimacy.
Yeah,
What do you
because
think?
see, you are absolutely right when you're saying that, because true cost of self optimization often manifests as emotional detachment. When you are going for a personal growth, that is an individualistic pursuit, then things become very different if you look at it from there, because you are striving alone. And when you are striving alone, what get compromised is rest, play, and intimacy. That is relationship with people. Because you don't have the time, you don't have the bandwidth to deal with such kind of things. So that individual pursuits requires sacrificing a lot of things. And my take on this is that you can look at the world all around you. The perfect example is Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, who had totally messed up family lives because they were having individual pursuits. And that is how they were growing. It cannot become a means to an end. So if you flip the coin, you can see a couple like Narayan Murthy and Sudha Murthy, who have laid the foundation for Infosys, and they are doing very well together. Whether it is company like Mama Earth or even Sugar or Chumbak, the couple are striving together towards one goal, and they have got so much of emotional connect, and their values are aligning with them. And then it is not getting compromised because you are striving along together. मतलब आप साथ एक साथ जब कुछ करते हो, when you're doing things together, your intimacy also becomes better too with that person, and you are having a shared goal. That is why these kind of relationship works very well. I'm not saying that people should not strive for ambition, but then at the same time they have to bring in their family members. They have to take care of the emotions, and they have to spend some quality time. That this is not the time for me to work, because ambition was never a villain. It is brought into spotlight something that was already existing, right? Like we say that everything has a price, but I feel that it is very different when it comes to pursuing your ambition, because by the end of the day you need people and you need connection.
Yes. So it's said that attention is a new oil. It's a commodity that to be bought and sold. In a
Yeah.
world like that, can deep trust even survive, or is it just a nostalgic idea?
Yes, we are definitely thriving on an attention economy, because there is a deep trust is not dying. Basically, because of this reason, it is becoming a scarer commodity. It is becoming priceless, because instead of being given a status of or a reputation, trust has to be increasingly earned by small moments of honesty, transparency, and relatable actions. तो जब आप ये सब नहीं करते हो, तो obviously you feel that there is no trust. So you have to also know one thing, that because of this, it is becoming the most valuable commodity. If there is no authenticity, trust cannot survive there. They are inversely related. Authenticity and trust go together. That is what I feel. So you have to show it in actions, not in claims. Actions मतलब आप action में अगर नहीं project कर पा रहे, तो trust cannot be built. You cannot build trust over an Instagram or on an internet by just getting likes from people. Or we all are part of this attention economy, because we ourselves are a commodity and we are being sold to the people. So that is how these things work, and we have to realize this over a period of time कि अगर हम इस चीज पे काम नहीं करेंगे तो definitely trust is going to get compromised in any way. So there has to be repeated demonstration of emotions, affection, and discretion and integrity. Then only trust can be shown. And how can you do it online? It is very difficult. So we have to focus on not capturing and monetizing the user. And the moment the word user comes, we relate it to commodity. So trust is not a commodity, it is built over time. And we have to value that trust. And that is why, because the trust is not there, we are developing a society which is filled with mistrust. One person doesn't trust the other person because of this reason. We are always thinking all the time ki this person might have some intrinsic motive, something that he is not telling me, because we are not able to build that connection through social media platforms. So we have to come face to face in order to create that trust. Consistency, honesty, and desire to be inconvenienced can build trust.
Okay, so building on what you said about trust, can we talk about the word busy? Like, we all use it. Is it a genuine status symbol now, or is it usually a polite way to avoid the emotional connection that everybody doesn't want, does want? What sense?
So basically, yes, it is. There are two aspects of it. One is a social symbol. If you are busy, that means what happens is that you are very important, you are very ambitious, and you are very successful. A person who is busy seems like that in the society, and he tries to appear like that in the society. That is, we are talking about the uh, status symbol, and it is a hallmark of all those people who are trying to gain that status in the society, right? Then secondly, as you said, definitely it is a shield that is being built because we don't have that emotional bandwidth to deal with the problems and issues of people, because we ourselves are not dealing with our own selves presently. So we create boundaries by politely telling that I'm busy tomorrow. I will not be able to meet you. So let's catch up some other time. I'm sure you must have heard it a lot of times, people saying that, you are declining invites, social commitments, and all that, because it causes a lot of anxiety and stress because we are not able to balance things out. And of course, we don't want to build emotional connections also, because there's so many things already going on in our life, and this is happening more so with boys. Why? I'll tell you. Because boys are generally considered in our society, I'm talking about the Indian society, they are considered to be the financial stabilizers. So if a boy is already turned 22, 23, if he's earning and if he doesn't have a social life, everybody is okay with it. So it becomes a social symbol even for the parents कि भाई मेरा बेटा कहीं ऑफिस के बाहर कहीं जाता ही नहीं, वो तो घर पे ही रहता है. They proudly talk about it, not realizing how much of mental stress and emotional meltdowns are happening in the house. They are totally not aware of what's happening actually. Because without human connection, emotional connection, you cannot find your self worth. You are not a machine, basically. सो अगर आप देखो तो इस चीज को देखा जाएगा कि आप अगर सोशलाइज बहुत ज्यादा कर रहे हो, सम पीपल ट्राई एंड डू दैट ओवर वीकेंड्स आई हैव सीन चिल्ड्रन गोइंग एंड सोशलाइजिंग. सो पीपल से कि दीज पीपल डोंट हैव एनीथिंग टू डू. So I feel that it's a very wrong concept that is being floated around in our society, that we should not be building contacts and connection. Presently, we are connected through the internet and we are talking to each other. But had we been offline, our emotional connection and the way we are talking to each other would be very different, because we would have known a little, non-verbal cues also, which we cannot grasp it when we are online.
Yes.
So being busy, yes, it is building a culture of burnouts. Yes, definitely. Exhaustion is being normalized. Yes, definitely. And it is a badge of honor. So we have to rethink this.
Oh, I just wanted
Yes,
to
ma'am.
add, like Anupama ji, as you said, we are living in a status-driven society. So I think I have seen a difference between people who are actually busy and just because and sometimes they pretend to be busy. I mean, for an
Yes,
example, if they see your text in a notification, they won't reply you immediately because they have a perception कि अगर मैं reply करूंगा तो they'll consider I'm sitting villa. मतलब I'm totally free.
yes,
So just to maintain
yes.
that image, they don't care to reply you.
So basically, क्या होता है ना कि it is a mindset. They are operating from their own mindset, thinking कि if I will reply to them immediately, they will think that I have, as you said, I have got nothing to do, and this will appear to them that I'm useless. I don't have any worth. All I'm doing is answering to people and on the WhatsApp, or even somebody has asked you to call you back. You immediately call back that person, but you hold for at least 15 to 20 minutes, even though you want to speak to that person, because you feel that you don't want to show your availability to the other person. This is the kind of society that we are creating.
And
So
Yes.
sometimes in this situation, as he said, trust also gets compromised.
and this somewhere linked to friendship? Like because we're talking about friendship recession. So how can we link this to the friendship? Is it actually being a part of that?
Yeah, actually, because see, I'll tell you, there are three core groups in how we function. One is the closed group with whom you call up anytime. I'm sure kids call up at 2 o'clock in the night, 3 o'clock, something has gone wrong, kuch gadbad ho gaya and all that. That is the closed group, and that will be kind of 1 to 2 people. I'm telling you, you
That's
can you can do a research on this. और कुछ लोगों के पास तो वो 1 to 2 people भी नहीं है.
right.
दूसरा होता है कि डिस्टेंट रिलेशनशिप होता है. दे आर काइंड ऑफ सीजनल फ्रेंड्स. आप उनको मतलब एक्टिविटी बेस्ड होते हैं कि चलो कहीं जाना है खाना खाने के लिए, या यू वांट टू प्ले विद दैट पर्सन, और you want to go for a concert. That is the second group. It is above that core group. And the third group which I'm talking about is the acquaintance, or you keep sending thumbs up and emojis and all that. That is the biggest group that is existing in our society. So earlier it used to be the other way around. I mean, बच्चों के 6 6 7 7 एक ग्रुप होता था जिसके साथ वो they used to roam around. कहते हैं ना, gang of people.
That's
Now there is
missing.
no group of people also.
It's
है
missing.
ना. बहुत मुश्किल हो गया है आजकल के बच्चों को एक दोस्त भी बनाना, क्योंकि वो एक टैगलाइन है ना कि हर एक फ्रेंड जरूरी होता है. बट वो हर एक फ्रेंड जरूरी तो होता है, बट उनके भी कैटेगरीज होते हैं, क्योंकि हर आदमी हर वक्त अवेलेबल नहीं होता है, क्योंकि आप भी अवेलेबल नहीं हो. तो इट इज डेफिनेटली रिलेटेड टू योर फ्रेंडशिप, एंड इट डेफिनेटली impacts your relationship over a period of time, because then you start categorizing people who always shows their presence and who doesn't. Somebody has died, or somebody, you have had a tragedy, that person will just text you and it's all over, right? But next day you will find somebody at your doorstep. You know the difference. And that is how there is a difference and the categorization in friendships. Yeah.
Okay. So, following the idea of what you were talking about being busy, what about the time when we're not busy? Like, when was the last time you gave someone your complete, undivided attention? No phone, no distractions, nothing.
So again, you are posing a question to someone whose profession is that. So my profession and my passion, my everything revolves around giving complete attention to people. But I will make it more personal, because this is something which I had experienced with my own kids. When they have been going through some kind of a problem or an issue, so we kind of follow a ritual. That is, we switch off each other's phones, and We close the doors. We tell people not to distract us for a period of half an hour or 40 minutes. We don't allow any kind of distraction. We get water bottles and everything. And if my kids want to talk to me, I give them undivided attention. And no judgments, no comparison, no criticism, just pure listening. And it is actually very empowering. And you don't need to go to a therapist if you're doing this at home. This is an appeal to all the children and the friends and all the parents. All you require is to give undivided attention, and that is active listening. Like I told Rudransh some time back, that most of the people have this problem कि ये मेरी सुनता नहीं है. आधे से ज्यादा लोगों को यही प्रॉब्लम है कि कोई उनकी सुनता नहीं है, बोलते सब लोग हैं. तो अगर सुनने वाले लोग हो जाए तो it can become very therapeutic. You actually don't need to go to a therapist because इस दुनिया में सुनने वाले लोग कम हैं, बोलने वाले लोग ज्यादा हैं. Although it is the other way around, you got two ears and one mouth, but we speak more than we listen. So that's my answer.
On the idea of undivided attention, like we're all constantly multitasking. We're all blaming it for our disconnection. But what if it's completely opposite? What if multitasking isn't the cause, but it's just a symptom?
Yeah, actually, if you talk it from the psychological point of perspective also, then it is kind of a coping mechanism. And women are very adept at it. They are known for the multitasking. And there is nothing like multitasking that exists. Because anything that you are giving attention to, and if you're not giving full attention to that thing, it is going to go wrong. So, in the name of multitasking, you are building a kind of a wall around you. So you are basically fearing something, and that is the fear of being still, the fear of being alone with your own thoughts and your feelings. And in order to overcome that fear, you are constantly using this distraction technique. I call this a distraction technique because I used to do that myself. And I realized that where I'm going wrong, because we have this problem of not being with ourselves, the fear of being with yourself in self reflection. That is existential questions that you can ask yourself. That is very important. And the painful emotions that you are feeling, that all start coming up when you're with yourself. So you switch from one thing to another very frequently in a culture where there is so much of external validation. Switching to your own self and thinking about your own self is not very much liked in the society. We cannot tolerate our own inner silence, and if you cannot stay in your own company, then you are in a bad company. That is one thing I'm telling you, because solitude and stillness can you bring face to face with a lot of aspects of your life which you're facing in. But we do not do that because it is an illusion of productivity that I feel. Illusion है वो. It controls our lives. Multitasking, I'm sure आपने अपने parents को भी देखा होगा multitasking करते हुए. So being vulnerable and feeling vulnerable is very uncomfortable, and being unproductive. People think they are very unproductive when they are sitting still. So they switch over. It's the fear of stillness that is the underlying issue. And underneath is that, and then you want to show by being present there yourself, by doing something or the, and boys are usually considered to be always very busy. Am I wrong?
No, in that
They
sense,
are
yes.
always trying to be very busy. They are not very good at multitasking, but they try to show that they are always doing something or the other because they don't want to deal with their emotions, right?
Right.
Because there is something called virtual autism, which a lot of boys are facing nowadays. Yeah.
So going back to friendship, it often feels like checking in with a quick text has completely replaced the act of actually being there or showing up for people. Why do you think that is? Could it be that the friendship has really shrunk, or they've just intelligently adapted to that?
No, no, no. I don't think so. Friendship has shrunk. It is the time that has shrunk. And although we are connected with the whole world globally, but the problem is that such kind of showing up requires a lot of planning, time, emotional energy, showing face to face. And when all this thing is missing, then checking in is always the second option, best option. That and this also makes you feel very alive. Okay, now I've texted this person. Now I'm safe. I'm not feeling guilty. And I might even send a very long text to that person rather than showing up, whether it is something tragic or whether the person is having some kind of a illness or some kind of a problem. So sometimes we also fear face to face interaction ourselves because we
Right.
are ourselves dealing with anxiety and lot of fear. And as I said to you before also, it requires a lot of understanding of non-verbal cues when you are face to face with someone. And it is very fearful to a lot of people because the illusion of closeness makes you feel very stable that you have sent a text or send a message to. So deeper quality interactions is very difficult in the time and the pace and the lifestyle that we are living. So check-ins are always much better. That's what I feel.
So this was amazing, Rudransh. All your questions and Anupamaji, the way you answered, this was really good. So before we move forward, I have a question that relates quite to Rudransh. So what I understand from you, it's globally हम एक दूसरे से बहुत connected feel कर रहे हैं. We are making lots of friends nowadays, but I think they all are contacts because we have no connections with them. So, in today's era, what we are doing is creating contacts and losing connections. Not only in relationship, I think more in friendship as well. Do you agree?
Mm, Yeah, that is actually true in this sense. Actually, in our generation, more like when whoever we meet, whenever we meet them, it's like we have a good time. We spend time with them. We share contacts. We exchange numbers, and that's just it. Next time, whenever we're gonna meet, next time whenever we're gonna sit and have an actual conversation, nobody knows. We're gonna stay online. We're gonna send reels to each other, and that's just the end of it.
Right.
I would call it the brim of a full glass. Everybody just skims through and does not goes deep or dives deep into it.
So, Anupama ji, if I could recall, my father used to say the most beautiful relationship on this earth is friendship because that's the only relationship you don't get it. You
Yeah.
make it. बाकी सब रिश्ते आपको दिए जाते हैं ये आप खुद डिसाइड करते हो who will be your friend. And
Yes.
I don't know, like, but we used to have a full form for the word friend. They used to say, like, few relation in earth never die. That's the meaning of friendship.
Yes.
Is it actually me, or you guys also think that the definition is fading away with time, or does it
Yeah,
exist?
actually, as I told you earlier, in the time and the space in which we are living, and we are going more towards the AI, we don't have time and the energy in this fast-paced world to actually understand the meaning that you said. Because actually, we are coming to the end of this world because we don't have friends. And this leads me to tell you very. It's a very sad scenario that according to Caleb data, there has been increase in 15% of men who have no single friend. Increase in the last 1 decade.
Oh dear.
They have acquaintances, they hang around with them, but actually, when it comes to talking to them, it is a very difficult thing.
That's a huge number.
Yeah, it's a huge number actually.
Actually, it is true.
I'm
Okay.
surprised Rudran being a Gen Z is accepting this so easily. Thanks,
No,
Raj.
because they all feel, and they are getting into such kind of things like situationship, benching, and all that. They are giving it different kind of names because they don't know how to process the relationship. We never had all these kind of language or the lingos in which situationship, you just get into a relationship. And then benching, I was surprised. I got to know from my daughter that you have a relationship with someone and you keep somebody on the bench so that once this guy goes out, the other one comes in. So there are a lot of lingos which are being used when it comes to having a relationship. It's not only friendship. And I'm sure Rudranj will be able to give us more Gen Z lingos when it comes to.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
There's a
Dictionary just
lot.
keeps on adding new words every day.
Yeah.
Can we have just two words from you, Rudranj, for my learning?
Two words for your learning. First, yeah, as ma'am mentioned, benching. That's a very new word, and that's very commonly being used. And there's a lot of things that you guys mostly now understand. There's situationships. There's tagging along. There's roping. There is a lot of details that are being processed. And some of those that even us, we're after teen, we don't understand. I mean, there's a lot new words that today's teenagers, like the ones who are 13, 14, they as they have their language, we even don't understand that what's happening over there.
Yeah, even I'm
So,
surprised. I s-
yeah, all these
Yeah,
things are happening because, according, in my opinion, it is because we are using these words in order to feel safe in that
yes.
domain and avoid any kind of commitment. So when you are in a situationship, you can always, tell your parents that I'm just trying. It is like somebody gave me an analogy that when you go to a furniture shop, you just don't pick up a chair and you buy it. You go to three, four shops and then you buy a chair and a table. So how can you just pick up a human being? You have to try them out. This is how this new generation is going and how they are functioning nowadays. So they
right.
have to first try out. If it doesn't work, then it goes back to the shop, and then they go to another shop to try another human. So now human beings are being taken as objects, and
Right.
this concept holds very true when you talk about IPLs and all, where human beings are being sold out. So it's perfectly all right.
So what we learned today is not only family and relationship, but friendships are also the thing that are also the one who is struggling more than anything. So this was an interesting conversation we had. काफी सवालों के जवाब मिले, काफी सवाल किए गए और कुछ पेंडिंग रह गए. पेंडिंग के लिए आप अपने सवाल हमारे साथ कमेंट्स में शेयर कर सकते हैं. एंड बिफोर वी रैप अप, लेट्स प्ले अ गेम. लेट्स टर्न द टेबल. सो द गेम इज लाइक दिस. अनुपमा जी, अब तक आपने बहुत सारे सवालों के जवाब दिए एक जेंजी के. नाउ दिस इज योर टाइम टू आस्क वन सिंगल क्वेश्चन. एंड रुद्रांश, बहुत मजे आ रहे थे आपको सवाल करने में. सो दिस इज द योर टाइम टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन. So let's begin. Yes, Anumabaji, your question,
Okay,
please.
Rudansh, one short question now in this age of situationship or whatever, when we are talking about love bombing and nanoship and all that, ghosting and all that. In this whole scenario, how do you feel that men, when they feel lonely, they are not able to tell anybody, they project themselves as failure? What, in your opinion, is making them feel this way and not talk about it in the open?
Basically, there's a lot of reasons for that. Me personally, I don't know why is that, but I think that during it began 2000s, during the 2000s, when everything shifted from a normal society to being called a patriarchal society, and then when it was being called a patriarchal society, it was told कि अब we have to bring gender equality back. We have to treat the women as equals. Everything should be done like that. But in my sense, it was never the way that women were not treated as equals, or women were never treated, well. In back day, whenever I read a story, or whenever I go to our Indian Hindu mythology, women were treated as goddesses. And then came the patriarchal society, then came the gender equality. So during this time, women are very much more empowered, and men have somewhere been left behind, or equality that was being talked about was not there. So yeah, basically a reason why nobody says, or none of the guys speak, is because there's nobody to speak to. I mean, one guy is suffering through the same thing, the other is not. The other is happy, or the women in their life, they're not thinking about them. They're not about if he feels or not. They're all like, we are in a gender equal generation, so they should all be like, if what I am going through, he's going through the same.
So that is why you feel that boys and men don't talk about it.
Yeah, that is basically it. There was also a term called the Matilda effect. That time, the bias between men and women is a lot.
Right.
Basically, that's the whole reason that I think is because of women is empowered. The men in our society, some men, not all of them, they all feel like the women are being more empowered. The women are the gender equality that was supposed to there. It went from men to women. It did not get a balance.
Okay.
Yes.
I get your point.
So basically, you're trying to say it's all about feminism, and the men feel they are unseen and unheard.
Actually, may that is somewhat true. But what if we try to bring a balance to our society? Our society is never balanced. It's always men, men, men sometimes. It's always women, women, women sometimes. Never it has it ever occurred to someone, yeah, you can be equals.
When
True
we
that.
when
Yeah, but I have a point to say. When we are talking about men being lonely, so it has got something to do with that masculinity, which is very much prevalent in our society. Ki big boys don't cry.
Yeah,
So
that
basically, when it comes to talking about being lonely, it is considered as a very shameful thing, as a point of weakness. So as it is, men are not told how to deal with their emotions and feelings because for them this is crap. So because that is how they are raised in our society. So when they become big and then they have to handle a lot of issues which are emotional, and then they start feeling very lonely, because when I'm not trying to say that men's friendship is bad, or men's friendship is a standard is lower than that of females, but when men sit around, they talk about gaming, they talk about going and playing a sports, they talk about which is the next movie that is coming, or they talk about bigger things, and in that smaller things get compromised. When it comes to females, everybody is talking about तुम्हारी जिंदगी में क्या हो रहा है, how has your boyfriend run away. When it comes to boys, if somebody asks you this kind of a question, it's like a boom. My god, why this person is entering my space, why is he asking me these kind of questions, he start avoiding the other guy, because that is how through generations they have been conditioned that you're not supposed to talk about your feelings and emotions.
exactly.
And when it comes to feeling lonely, that's the biggest problem in our society. If a man is lonely, why can't he be lonely? It's that is
Right.
my question. If a female can be lonely, so can a man be. When you're talking about gender equality, then the equality has to be there when it comes to loneliness also. So we
Yes.
have to take it in our stride, and we have to be very positive on this aspect, and we need to talk about it in the
I,
open, because the opposite of courage is not vulnerability but Vulnerability itself is courage. If you
Just
are being
one
vulnerable,
thing.
that is why you are courageous. So when you feel that you're vulnerable and you are feeling insecure, and when you're saying such kind of things, you feel that you are showing some kind of weakness. Talking about something requires a lot of courage, and it requires a lot of strength to even come out in the open. So if there is something that is happening in the life of a man, it is very much required that all the parents should also uh, treat their children, boys and girls, equally. Because when we, as he said, when you're talking about gender equality, then females are being empowered. At the same time, when it comes to emotional level also, then men should also be empowered to
Yes.
come and in alignment with the females, because
Yes.
emotions are very much part of our life, whether you like it or not, whether you are techie or whether you're non-techie, it does not matter.
Yes.
Wonderfully explained, Anupama ji. Thank you so much. And this was a wonderful explanation by you, Rudransh, too. So, as we say, everything starts at home. So, Rudransh, be the first person and bring the change. Learn to accept your emotions as shared. And do share the message with your friends, एक एक करके तो सारे जुड़ते चले जाएंगे.
Of course.
So, thank you. This was a wonderful podcast. Having both of you was a wonderful experience. Thank you once again. Have a great evening ahead.
Thank you very
Thank you so
So,
much.
much.
thank you, audience. Thank you, audience, for joining us. See you soon with another podcast and with another experts. Have a great
Okay.
evening. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.